Okay. In the last session, we had seen the theory regarding the interfaces. So what are the interfaces and how the interface is different from class. And also we had seen that why the interface is included. The interface is included that just because to give the solutions to the multiple inheritance. First thing, then the second thing, we cannot able to create the object of interface. By default, the methods in interface are public, static, and it is public or static, and the variables are finals. Okay, and the body of interface is abstract. One interface can able to extend another interface. So now in today's session we are going to consider the declaring interface. How to declare the interface? The interface keyword is used to declare an interface. Here is a simple example to declare an interface. Okay, so this is just consider, if you are considering here import java.lang. So this is a by default package. This package, it is not a mandatorily required to include. Okay, so this is the by default included into your Java. So even though you are not including this, it is automatically invoked. Okay, so this is the by default package. So we are writing it. Even if you are not writing, then also it's okay. Okay, its syntax, just consider that this is the public, then the interface name, and then the name of interface. So this is the by default. This is similar declarations like the class. जैसे class declare करते हैं वैसे ही करते हैं. But here any number of final static fields, any number of abstract method declarations, we are going to consider an interface. Okay, any number, n number of it. N number of interfaces we can able to consider within this. Okay, so basically this is nothing but the format to declare the interface, but all the methods, remember, all the methods which we are putting here, that should be the abstract one. Okay, so any number of abstract method and any number of final and static field. It means that if you are using a variable and if you are assigning some value, that value is considered as the final value, which cannot be able to change within the class who is implementing this interface. Interface have following properties, and interface is implicitly abstract. You do not need to use the abstract keyword. So this is by default abstract. So therefore abstract keyword, it is not required to write. Each method in an interface is also implicitly abstract. So the abstract keyword is not needed. Okay, so for this is the same is for the interface declaration, same is for the interface method declaration. Method is an interface are implicitly public. Okay, so interface, just if you are considering, this is nothing but this is the method which is declared as the abstract. It means that the body is missing. If you are considering the example, just consider that public static void main, this is nothing but the starting point for our program. This is nothing but the object creation. So this is because the class. Okay, so this animal is nothing but the interface which we are considering. And if I want to get the access of these two methods, or if you want to give the implementations of these two methods, then at that time I have to use the keywords as implements. Okay, implements, because I have to give the implementations to animal. Okay, but it is mandatory that अगर यहाँ पे 10 मेथड है, if 10 methods if we are using in interface, it is mandatory that we have to give the implementations of all the 10 methods. Okay, so it is by default mandatory things. Public void it, public void travel, this need to be overwritten. Okay, यहाँ पे overwriting already है. Same is the here, and this is nothing but the function of this particular class. Okay, so number of legs written 0. So therefore if I am using this, it means that I am creating the object of this. I can able to write it like this, mammal int, because this is the name of the class. But if you are considering the animal is nothing but the interface. I cannot able to write it here like this, animal a is equal to new animal, because animal is a class. You cannot able to create the object. Okay, but you can able to use the reference. I can able to write animal a is equal to new mammal int. I can able to write this, but new animal is not possible. Okay, so after that m dot it m dot travel. So these are nothing but the two methods. Okay, these are nothing but the two methods which we are executing. Okay, so this is nothing but the by default. So if you are running this, okay, so mammal it's mammal travel. Okay, ये थोड़ा सा m रह गया है यहाँ पे, but this statement will be executed. Okay, when overriding, just we will see the theory regarding this. When a class implements an interface, you can think of a class as signing a contract, agreeing to perform the specific behaviors of interface. If a class does not perform all the behaviors of interface, the class must declare itself as abstract. Okay, the class uses the implement keywords to implement an interface. Okay, so the implement keywords, so this keyword I have already told you that this is required. The implements keyword appear in a class declarations following the extend portions of the declarations. Okay, so when overriding method defined in interfaces, there are several rules to be followed. Okay, overriding method defined in interface. Okay, it means that overriding methods like this, public void it and public void travel. Checked exceptions should not be declared on implementation methods other than the ones declared by interface methods or subclass of those declared by the interface methods. Means if we are describing here exceptions, then at that time I cannot able to include any other exceptions. I have to match the signature that itself. Okay, checked exception should not be declared. We don't have to declare on the implementation method. जो implement करना है उसके ऊपर exception आपको put करने का जरूरत नहीं है. The signature of the interface methods and the say return type or subtype should be maintained when overriding the methods. Okay, so signature. So if I'm using it here void and the name of file as it, then here the void and it. If I'm using this, the same should be written here. Okay, the same should be written here along with the public. So this is called as overriding. Okay, overriding, it means that we are providing the implementations to the methods which are already given in abstract form. Okay, an implementation class itself can be abstract, and if so, interface methods need to be implemented. Implementation class itself can be abstract. Okay, implementation class, the class can be abstract, and if so, interface methods need to be implemented. So this is by default that, because here we are giving, okay, here we are just giving the abstract method declarations. Okay, so here the body is required. Even if we don't, we need to write anything inside this. I just need to write opening bracket and the closing bracket that will be creating the interface itself. Okay, so when implementation interface, when we are going for the implementation of interfaces, some rules we have to follow. A class can implement more than one interface at a time. So this is by default. Even though in case of the since we know that the Java doesn't support multiple inheritance, but that could be achieved with the help of multiple by including multiple interfaces. We can able to include the multiple interfaces at the same time. A class can extend only one class, but implements many interfaces. Okay, so basically, as per the rule of multiple inheritance, a class is able to extend only one class, but multiple interfaces is possible. An interface can extend another interface similar to the way that a class can extend another class. Okay, so these are nothing but an interface is can extend another interface. If two interfaces are there, one can extend another, but the class, whenever the class is coming into the pictures, then at that time I have to use the keywords as implements. Okay, I think this much is sufficient for today's session. We will see the rest of the parts in next